Hi guys, today's video is all about new perfume releases this year 2024. Most of the perfumes that I'm going to talk about today are not yet that hyped, and I think that they will be sooner or later. So it's going to be a very interesting one. So yeah, please keep watching. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Joanna and I do reviews and recommendations of affordable and luxury fragrances in my channel. Now, if that sounds appealing to you, then please keep watching and consider subscribing. First perfume that I'm going to talk about is the newest release of Goldfield and Banks, and this is Mystic Bliss. Mystic Bliss will be available starting August 1st worldwide, and yeah, I'm so glad to get mine from Rafinad Perfumery. Now let's talk about the scent. Mystic Bliss is inspired by an island called Flinders in Tasmania, Australia, and this fragrance has a very interesting note of kunzea flower, which I haven't really smelled in real life, so I don't have idea how that kunzea flower smells like. But out of curiosity, I was so thrilled to try this one because I haven't heard of any fragrance that has a kunzea flower note. Well, it is actually a flower that is only found in Australia. This fragrance starts off very fresh. Let's say it smells like a burst of freshly cut fig and mint. And then as it dries down, there's something about it that smells resinous and at the same time aromatic. It is actually a very aromatic scent, and I guess it is because of the clary sage that is in here. So if you are a fan of clary sage, you're gonna enjoy this one. Clary sage to me is somehow similar to the vibe of lavender. However, I find clary sage like even more aromatic and more green. I find this fragrance complex as the opening is quite different to the dry down. I must say that the opening of this is very fresh. As mentioned, it has fresh fig, mint, and there is an uplifting peppery vibe as well coming from the pink pepper. However, as it dries down, the aromatics kind of take over the scent. So to me, this is heavy in clary sage, cardamom, and at the same time, there's something very green about it, like the combo of fig and geranium. And then it has a resinous base. So imagine it is soft aromatic, it's kind of green, woody, and resinous at the same time. The vibe that I'm getting from this fragrance is kind of giving like midnight or like twilight vibe. Yeah, definitely like the color of the bottle. Yeah, this is somehow the vibe of this. So having said that, this is quite dark, but kind of fresh at the same time because of that aromatic nuance in it. The dry down of this is very warm, spicy, resinous, and still figgy. It has a lot of notes listed. However, to me, the standout notes are definitely fig, cardamom, clary sage, olibanum, and labdanum. So having said that, it is warm, resinous, green, and aromatic. Even though it is unisex, I feel like it is slightly leaning more masculine. So I kind of prefer this on my man. It is kind of giving some dark and mysterious vibe. Definitely an interesting one. When it comes to longevity and projection, I must say that the first 2 hours is quite strong, lasts around 4 to 6 hours with moderate projection. I highly recommend it if you are into soft, aromatic, warm, spicy, and fig scents. Yeah, so that's my thought about the newest release of Goldfield and Banks, Mystic Bliss. All right, next up is the newest release of Dora, and this is YLOP. And I've tried this fragrance for the first time in Essence, and I know that it is going to be like a summer Johnny. And in case you didn't know, Johnny is the gourmand that Dora released last year, I think around fall time. So basically this is like their spring gourmand. And if Johnny is giving some apple pie, then YLOP to me is a freshly baked pie with loads of apricot jam on top. This to me is definitely gourmand, definitely giving that pastry vibe. So if you're looking for a gourmand scent that has a heavy apricot and apples in it, then I highly recommend you checking out YLOP. This has a very interesting note breakdown, as aside from apricot, apple, and tea, it also has some almond, sesame, rosemary, vetiver, and vanilla. To me, this is mainly a gourmand scent. I love how they capture such a picturesque moment in this fragrance. YLOP definitely smells like having an apple pie with thick apricot jam while sipping a cup of tea in the countryside. I find this fragrance very nostalgic, same as Johnny. So if you are into pastry kind of gourmand, I highly recommend you YLOP, as I find this one quite unique because of the apricot and sesame note that are quite stand out in this fragrance. When it comes to longevity, I must say that this lasts moderate, let's say 4 to 6 hours. Yeah, that is YLOP by Dora, and I got mine from Rafinad Perfumery as well. Next up is Oranger Sirroco. And you guys, as the name suggests, it is a fragrance that is heavy in orange blossom. And if you watch my channel, you know that I'm not the biggest fan of orange blossom. However, I do like this fragrance a lot. The orange blossom in here definitely smells rich and luxurious. This is a grown-up florals, definitely giving some rich and luxurious vibes. I imagine someone in their 30s and above rocking this fragrance. I wore this the other day and I enjoyed it a lot, which is quite surprising as I am not really into orange blossom. It is a warm and spicy orange blossom. It has a very noticeable cinnamon as well. When it comes to longevity and projection, this lasts, let's say, around 6 to 8 hours, and it lasts even longer on clothes. A very potent, rich, and luxurious orange blossom scent that I must say is quite grown. I love this fragrance and I highly recommend it, especially if you love orange blossom in your scents. I got Oranger Sirroco from Rafinad Perfumery as well. Oh, actually, I received some samples as well from the newest release of Masque Milano. Let me just breeze through it like quickly. All right, so the first fragrance from Masque Milano is called Vaiana. So Vaiana to me smells very earthy and green at the same time. Yeah, I imagine it has some angelica roots. It also has some lavender, geranium. Yeah, so I think that added to the greenness of the scent, and some neroli. The base is sandalwood, cedar, and white musk. And I must say that this to me is mainly green, earthy, but then as it dries down, it is kind of enveloping actually, because I feel like the sandalwood and the cedar wood is giving some cashmere vibe. Yeah, so I find it very enveloping as it dries down. This to me is very aromatic because of the lavender, and yeah, it's giving some earthy vibes coming from the angelica roots. It is nice, however, it's like not my kind of scent. Yeah, so that's my thought about Vaiana. Next up is Catherine, and this to me is the most floral out of the three. This is straight up jasmine and tuberose. So having said that, it is kind of heady and indolic, especially in the opening. I actually thought that this is like straight away like no for me. However, as it dries down, the sandalwood, cashmeran, musk, and vetiver in the base balanced out the greenness and the indolic facets of this scent. This, as it dries down, has that very fresh and clean smelling florals. The star of this fragrance is definitely jasmine and tuberose. So if you are a fan of those two notes, you will definitely like this one. It is not heady nor indolic. The sandalwood, cashmeran, musk, and vetiver are very well blended along with the floral notes in this fragrance. So yeah, I highly recommend it if you are a fan of green florals with a little bit of muskiness. So it is definitely giving that fresh and clean floral kind of vibe. Yeah, so that is Catherine. And the last from Masque Milano is called Vaiana. Vaiana is more on the creamy sandalwood, and at the same time it has some solar tropical flower vibes coming from jasmine sambac, tiara flower, and tuberose. It is a beautiful scent. However, I feel like this scent profile is very prominent in the design, especially in the designer's world. So imagine like Guerlain Terracotta, Estee Lauder Bronze Goddess. So it's giving the same vibe as like those perfumes. So if you are a fan of solar tropical flowers, then you might enjoy this fragrance. However, to me, it's the cashmeran and sandalwood that are more stand out than the flowers. So let's say the cashmeran and sandalwood vibe is 65% and 35% are the solar and tropical flowers in here. Very nice. If I have to choose amongst the three, I thought I'm gonna like Vaiana the most, but after testing them for a full day, I did actually enjoy Catherine the most because this is such a sophisticated scent. Highly recommend it. If you love the vibe of like Dior's J'adore L'Or, you will like Catherine as well. Yeah, so those are the three scents from Masque Milano. They are also available in Rafinad's website. And don't forget that I have a discount code, which is Mercado, for you to use to save 10% off. All right, next fragrance is from the House of Oud, and this is White Pearl. And I think this is the other newest release from the House of Oud aside from Guilty Crush. And I have reviewed Guilty Crush in my other videos, so I won't be talking about Guilty Crush anymore. And instead, I'm going to talk about White Pearl, as I haven't really heard a lot of people talking about this fragrance. This fragrance is quite interesting because to me, it is definitely floral, mainly rose in my opinion. It is giving some tropical vibe, especially in the opening because of the ylang ylang. However, it has some slight spiciness as well that is caused by the cardamom and pink pepper. So imagine it is quite peppery, and the kind of rose that is in here is kind of the same as the rose in Intense Cafe. So I was actually reminded of Intense Cafe when I smelled this fragrance for the first time. However, as it dries down, there is a very prominent marine and ambergris note that made this fragrance salty and aquatic. So the opening and the mid are quite different from the final dry down. I find the dry down of this fragrance very marine-like, let's say like salty aquatic with just touches of rose and tonka bean. It is nice. However, I prefer the opening and the mid of this fragrance. I am not really a fan of that strong marine aspect of it. It is a nice fragrance though, and I must say, quite unique. Imagine intense cafe, but make it salty and marine-like. It has that prominent ambergris as well, so it is definitely giving that mossy and aquatic vibe. Yeah, I think if you love ambergris and aquatic scent, then you might enjoy this one. Well, I'm not really the biggest fan of marine kind of scents, but it's just that I wish the rose, ylang ylang, and iris are stronger than the marine facets of this fragrance. So yeah, it is beautiful. However, just not for me, but for sure there will be someone out there who will love this fragrance. Yeah, so that is White Pearl by the House of Oud. Next up is Blu Mare by Giardini di Toscana. And this is their newest release, and I was quite curious about this fragrance. This is another aquatic scent. However, this to me is really just a salty aquatic scent with some citruses. Very lovely scent. It also has cypress that gives that fresh green piney feel in it, and then some oak moss and amber in the base. So aside from it being aquatic, it also has a citrusy and green aspect in it. This smells like very fresh Mediterranean vibe. I like it, but I feel like this is more of a masculine scent. So yeah, definitely more masculine leaning for my taste, but I indeed find it a beautiful aquatic scent that is very fresh. Like, this to me smells like walking by the beach and like you're literally feeling the sea breeze on your face along with the saltiness of the sea. That is the vibe of Blu Mare. When it comes to longevity and projection, this one lasts for a very long time. Let's say 6 to 8 hours, and it stays longer on clothes. Yeah, so that is my thought about Blu Mare by Giardini di Toscana. I find it a masculine leaning aquatic scent. Oh, and I forgot, White Pearl, on the other hand though, is a feminine leaning aquatic scent. Next up is something that I've tried in the mall recently. So I went to the mall and I tried the newest release of Gucci called Gucci Flora Gorgeous Orchid. I was very curious about it because it is a vanilla dominant scent. So it was my scent of the day when I went to Sephora, and what can I say? Yes, it is nice. To me, it smells like a hybrid of Burberry Goddess and Black Opium Le Parfum. However, it is quite closer to Le Parfum. So having said that, it is very vanillic. Well, anyway, the notes are only just vanilla, vanilla orchid, and some ozonic notes. I didn't really get some ozonic notes in it, but instead, I was getting whiffs of Burberry Goddess. So to me, it smells like a light and airier version of Black Opium Le Parfum. And then in the air, it is somehow giving Burberry Goddess vibes. Yeah, I know it sounds weird, but beautiful, right? Because those two fragrances are actually on my wish list for a very long time. The thing is, I enjoyed wearing Flora Gorgeous Orchid. However, I noticed that it didn't last, and I feel like it's quite weak. And imagine I showered myself with it in Sephora and it lasted me, let's say, max 5 hours. It is a beautiful scent. However, if I have to compare it with Burberry Goddess and Black Opium Le Parfum, scent-wise, I will still prefer Burberry Goddess, but when it comes to longevity and projection, I will prefer Black Opium Le Parfum. So yeah, with this, I am quite torn. I'm not sure about it. I think I will just wait for the newest Burberry Goddess. I think they're coming out with an intense version, right? Once I managed to try the new Burberry Goddess Elixir, I think it's called Elixir Intense, then I will decide if I will still get this Flora Gorgeous Orchid. Yeah, that is my thought about it. It smells like a lighter and airier version of Le Parfum, but it is giving some goddess vibes in the air, or like in the scent bubble as well, especially in the dry down. I don't think it has that sweetness that I love from Burberry Goddess. This is like more straight up vanilla. That's my thought about Gucci Flora Gorgeous Orchid. Hey, I think now we're down to the last fragrance, and you guys, I'm so excited to let you guys know about this because this is my favorite in today's list. And this is Oud Cadenza, the latest release of Maison Crivelli. Guys, this is my scent of the day, okay? And I am really loving this scent. This is such a sexy oud saffron leather combo with sweetness of dates and caramel. I really love this one. This is sexy, luxurious, alluring. Yeah, those are the adjectives that describe this scent, and this definitely smells like my vibe. It kind of reminds me of Oud Maracuja. However, this is like the feminine version of Oud Maracuja. Oud Maracuja for me is mainly oud, leather, and passion fruit. And then Oud Cadenza is the sweetened oud, leather, and saffron combo. It is such a beautiful and elegant scent. This is such a winner for me. I must say, one of the best this year. I will definitely upgrade it to a big one once I finish. But the thing is, I don't know if I will finish up this one because this is once again potent, like any other Maison Crivelli's creations. It starts off quite spicy and, you know, quite animalic as well at the same time. It has that saffron, cardamom, and ginger giving the warm spiciness. And then like as it dries down, the sweetness slowly picks through and it just smells so delicious. I love that they use dates and caramel in here. The caramel and dates are not too thick or gooey. It is perfectly blended with the leather, patchouli, and labdanum in here. The patchouli is very strong. It is very well blended with the oud, leather, and saffron. So imagine those strong and potent notes combined in a fragrance, but they're all very well blended. So there is no screechiness out of this fragrance. Such an amazing release. I'm quite impressed actually. I highly recommend you checking out Oud Cadenza, especially if you love Oud Maracuja and you find it quite masculine leaning. I feel like this is more of a fall and winter scent though, but it is okay. I am wearing it today and it is extremely hot. Even here in the room where I'm filming, I'm actually melting, but it is not giving me headache. It is not too much. It is still very beautiful. I love this scent. It is not too sweet as well. Just keep that in mind just in case you are thinking that, oh, it will be too sweet. And actually, if you read the notes, it is kind of scary because it seems like, oh, this will be extremely strong because the note seems like a bomb of a scent. But I'm telling you, everything is perfectly well executed in this fragrance. Such an amazing release. Once again, by Maison Crivelli Oud Cadenza. And I know that I mentioned already, longevity and projection is so amazing, very potent, lasts more than 8 hours with strong projection. Right, so those are the 10 new releases that I want to talk about in today's video. I would love to know if you've tried any of this perfume, or if there's something in here that piqued your interest, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and see you on my next one. Bye guys!